Shopify presents cool sheets from aha to...
I suffered from the wrong kind of hot in bed, heat-induced insomnia. That was my aha moment. Bed sheets that keep you cool. Then I thought, how do I even sell bed sheets? That's when I had the idea that made it all possible. Signing up on Shopify.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/offer22. Shopify.com/offer22.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. You can also follow us on YouTube. Got some great video content. Our YouTube handle is at LA Rams Up. You can follow us on Instagram as well. I'm your host, Mark. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans, and we finally have something to be a little bit excited about. Been a long time waiting. Baker Mayfield claimed by the Rams, and he will be suiting up, possibly as early as this Raider game. Not sure if he's going to get the start, but we'll see. I have a feeling he's going to play a little bit. And hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Baker Mayfield is the savior for this franchise, but man, we have been really lacking at the backup quarterback position. Our team has been really painful to watch, especially on offense. So bring on Baker Mayfield. I'm excited about it. I dropped a YouTube short on this exact subject. I'd like to see him start for the rest of the season, ideally. And you know what? He hasn't played well. Actually, he's played pretty horribly recently. This season had the worst QBR rating ever, if I read that correctly. But you know he's got a lot of talent. We know McVay liked him. And hey, it's an upgrade over Wolford and Perkins. We all know that. So bring on Baker Mayfield. Gives me a reason to watch. Hopefully we'll see him Thursday night against the Raiders. And the other side of this is something the Rams have done in the past. If Baker Mayfield plays pretty well, doesn't re-sign with the Rams as their backup quarterback, gets picked up by someone else, we get a comp pick, possibly anyways. So look at it that way. I'm pretty excited. There hasn't been a lot to be excited about this season, especially after week 5 or 6 or so. Hey, let's look at some Pro Football Focus grades from last week. Brandon Powell came in at 90.1. Bobby Brown, 87.3. Michael Hoyt, 77.4. I'm surprised it wasn't higher. And Tutu Atwell, a solid 78. Where has McVay been hiding Bobby Brown and Tutu Atwell especially? Some snap counts from the Seattle game as well. Ben Skowronek missed 2 snaps. Bryson Hopkins was in for 10 snaps, barely noticed him. Powell and Atwell were both in for just under half the snaps. And it was about 2-1 in favor of Akers over Williams as far as snaps at the running back position. Bobby Wagner and Darion Kendrick, the only defenders who did not miss a snap. That's a little surprising. Hey, and get this, Jonah Williams actually played a few more snaps than Greg Gaines. Has Greg Gaines been slipping? He hasn't been an impact player this year as much as he was last year. Not sure what's going on with Mr. Gaines there. Kobe Drant had 27 snaps, and Bobby Brown, who I mentioned graded out really high, had 17 snaps. So that's another thing we could see the rest of the year is maybe we'll get a chance to see how Bobby Brown develops, especially as a run stopper with A'Shawn Robinson out. And Daniel Hardy did indeed get 2 snaps. I missed it. I have to go back and look. Might have been at garbage time, not sure. And Quentin Lake also got a snap. And some other NFL news, Jimmy G's injury to his foot wasn't as severe as they thought, and he could be back for the playoffs apparently. For now, it'll be Brock Purdy backed up by the newly signed Josh Johnson. San Francisco, got to be one of the NFC favorites at this point, but has to be a little bit of concern about the quarterback position. I'd be concerned. Of course, I'd be concerned if Jimmy G was healthy and ready to roll, to be honest with you. We're going to get out of the Ram and NFL swim lane briefly here. Dodgers, Cody Bellinger signs with the Cubs. Trey Turner signs with the Phillies. Now, Bellinger, he has been in a nosedive for the last couple of years. He's a great center fielder defensively and had a knack for coming up with big clutch hits, but recently just strikeout after strikeout in key positions. Time the Dodgers moved on from him. As far as Trey Turner, I have this feeling like he didn't really want to be in Los Angeles. I don't have any data to support that. It was just a gut feeling on my part. I don't think he wanted to stay on the West Coast. So sure enough, he's out of here. So the Dodgers will be in flux next year, but they got a lot of talent, a lot of young guys they can start bringing on. Maybe we'll do a Dodger episode after the football season, kind of gauge where they're at position by position. I'm not well versed enough to get into that now, but definitely a lot of changes in store for our Los Angeles Dodgers. And how about the World Cup? Germany and Belgium didn't get out of pool play. Spain gets knocked out by Morocco in the quarterfinals. So the number 2, 5, and 11 teams worldwide rankings are out. Number 7, Italy, didn't even qualify. And number 3 and 8, Netherlands and Argentina, about to play. Number 4 and number 5 play each other on Thursday, France and England. Those two games are going to be dynamite. So my guess is we'll have Brazil and Argentina in one semifinal, and the winner of France and England against Portugal in the other semifinal. Don't want to disrespect Morocco, but I'll take Portugal in that game. And last shout out before we get to our Raider Ram preview and my Rams Up Straight Up picks, shout out to the UCLA women's soccer team. They win a thriller in overtime over North Carolina in the national championship game, so they bring home the title. Congratulations, Lady Bruins. Next up, that preview, Rams Raiders. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is my go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. And if you're looking for a Week 12 same-game parlay, how about this one? Right now, Texans +7 against the Dolphins. The over-under is 45. The Texans have the worst rush defense in the league, giving up 181 yards per game. First of all, I think the Texans +7 is a good bet, and I think we're going to go with the under on that point total of 45 for a couple reasons. Both teams are going to try to run the ball. That'll shorten the game. Dameon Pierce has a good chance of slicing and dicing this Dolphin defense. So both teams are going to be running the ball. So take the under on the point total, take the Texans +7, and I'm going to say take Mostert over on the rushing yardage. He's going to get plenty of action against this Texans defense. And how about this? If you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code TPPN, place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game, you get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Let's preview this Ram-Raider game. What do we got? Raiders lead this series 8-6. The last time they played, opening day 2018, the Rams 33, the Oakland Raiders 13. Raiders led that game 13-10 at halftime. The Rams added 3 Greg Zuerlein field goals, a Goff to Cup TD, and a Marcus Peters 50-yard interception return for a touchdown, all in the second half, and the Rams blow them out. Memorable games. How about this one, 2014? The St. Louis Rams win 52-0 over the visiting Raiders. Trey Mason, of all people, remember him? TD runs of 8 and 89 yards, and he also had a TD reception. So over their last 2 games, the Rams have outscored the Raiders 85-13. Head coach is Josh McDaniels, the longtime Patriots assistant. Key players on offense starts with their quarterback Derek Carr, running back Josh Jacobs, and the great wide receiver Devontae Adams came over from Green Bay. Remember, he was out of Fresno State, as was Derek Carr, so Adams wanted to be reunited with his Bulldog buddy and maybe get a little closer to home. On defense, two very good defensive ends, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones. Injuries, two key guys on offense out for the Raiders, Darren Waller, the tight end, and Hunter Renfrow, the guy that, I don't know who it was, someone said, hey, he was basically a less expensive version of Cooper Kupp. Yeah, the only thing they got in common is they're both missing this game. Notable draft picks by the Raiders this year, guard Dylan Parham and Zamir White, the running back. The only Ram connection I could find on this team is Micah Kaiser, the linebacker. He's on injured reserve, though. Let's look at the Raiders from a statistics point of view. On offense, pretty good. 8th in yards per game, very balanced, running and passing. Don't lean on either one more than the other, really. On defense, the Raiders have struggled, giving up 372 yards per game. That's 6th worst in the league. They've struggled mostly against the pass, giving up 250 yards per game. That's 3rd worst, a little bit better against the run. Really struggle getting to the quarterback, just 21 sacks on the year. Now, I don't know how this bears out for the Rams. They did very well on the ground last week against a very weak run defense with the Seahawks. They have not been successful moving the ball through the air. They might have to a little bit against this Raider defense. Current odds, Raiders by 6, which I thought is a little high. Might put some money down on the Rams on that one. How's it been going for the Raiders? Well, they're winners of 3 straight. They've beat the Broncos, Seahawks, and Chargers to improve to 5-7. Might be too little too late for them. As far as a playoff run, that conference is just loaded. Probably not going to happen. Although a win over the Rams would give them some life, that's for sure. Rams come in 3-9, losers of 6 straight. Can't believe I'd ever see that from a Sean McVay coach team, but just goes to show you how decimated this team has been, especially on the top end of their roster. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, all missing this game. You could argue those are our 3 best players, although don't tell Jalen Ramsey I said that. Here are some 4 keys to the game. Well, here's some key number 1. Kind of do what they've been trying to do. Make the opposition eat up clock. This is when the Rams are on defense, Make them eat up clock. No chunk plays. Make them earn their way into the red zone and then force field goals. We gave up 3 passing TDs to Geno Smith. Geno Smith and his 367 yards passing. If we let them get into the red zone, hey, the Raiders are going to get into the red zone probably a few times. Got to force field goals more often than not if we're going to have a chance to win this, given how inept our offense has been, especially at the quarterback position. If the Raiders put up 24 points, if the Raiders put up 3 touchdowns, might be lights out for our Los Angeles Rams. For some key number 2, we started running the ball last week pretty well, again, against a pretty weak Seahawk run defense, but we have to continue to do that. I know it's cliche, establish the run. I don't know if it's so much establishing the run. We could establish the pass a little bit first, I guess, but we have to be successful on the ground against this Raider team, and we need to chew up clock on the offense by running the ball. Cam Akers looked pretty good. Kyron Williams getting some touches. Brandon Powell, Tutu Atwell, everybody pitching in the run game. Need to continue to do that if we're going to beat the Raiders. Here's some key number 3. Continue to be creative. We saw it last week. John Wolford rolling out. Brandon Powell and Tutu Atwell getting touches in the run game and the pass game. Very creative, especially early in the game. Got to continue to do that. Keep this Raider defense a little bit off balance. And I don't care how you get the ball to Powell and Atwell. Get it to them be creative. And if Bryce Perkins is a quarterback, that adds another dimension to this creativity, another potential means for being creative. You think the Rams were creative last week with Wolford rolling out? Let's do the same with Perkins. Mix in some read option with Akers, Powell, Atwell, and Kyron Williams as options. We better see quite a bit of that if we expect to beat the Raiders, in my opinion. And for some key number 4, last week we had a couple big plays. The Wagner interception and Taylor Rapp's recovery of that fumble turned both of those into a total of 3 points. We need a bigger play, unfortunately. We need a punt return for a touchdown, a scoop and score, a pick 6. We need a game-changing play by someone on offense or defense. Just don't have those anymore. Seems like we're so close so many times. Taking the ball away hasn't been enough for this team. I've been begging for takeaways. We finally get them, and nothing happens because our offense just doesn't have what it takes in most cases to turn it into a touchdown. How about one big play? Someone step up and make one big play on offense, defense, or special teams. Now, it may be a bit ludicrous to call out something like that as a key to the game. Every team would love to have that every game, but in the Rams situation, it's getting to the point where they need something like that to get a win. So those are my fearsome 4 keys to the game. Force field goals on defense, run the ball on offense, be creative on offense, and someone make a big dang play, put the ball in the end zone for us for an easy 7 points. Probably need 3, if not all 4 of these things to go our way if we're going to win the game, especially not knowing who our quarterback is. Hey, could it be Baker Mayfield, or is it going to be Wolford or Perkins? We'll see. If it's Mayfield, it kind of changes everything. Game plan probably changes. What wide receivers get the snaps. So all bets are off if Mayfield plays. My prediction, Rams 24, Raiders 23. The Rams force the field goals in the red zone and find a way to get into the end zone themselves 3 times, and they pull out the win. And I don't think this is a stretch. Raiders are beatable. Rams, as dinged up as they are, they have some playmakers. They have some solid guys out there, especially on defense. Rise to the occasion and break this 6-game losing streak. Rams 24, Raiders 23. Let's get into our Rams Up Straight Up game picks. And I don't want to spend a lot of time reviewing last week because it was really ugly. I mean, who told me to take the Texans over the Browns? I was also the only one to take the Rams over the Seahawks and the Dolphins over the 49ers and the Saints. The Saints should have won that game. I was the only one to pick the Saints. So I got hammered on those picks, and I have fallen into last place behind Lorenzo Reyes, Mike Florio, and even Pete Prisco. Not a good week, but it's bounce back week for me. And I found most of this week's picks pretty easy. I'm taking the Rams over the Raiders. I'm taking the Bills over the Jets. And yes, I'm going to roll through this pretty quickly, turning around a podcast in 3 days because the Rams play on Thursday night. The Bengals will take care of the Browns, of course. The Cowboys will hammer the Texans. The Vikings will sneak by the Lions. The Eagles will beat the Giants in a tailspin. The Ravens will bounce back against the Steelers. The Titans will destroy the Jags. The Dolphins will sneak by the Chargers. That could be a really fun game to watch. Chargers defense has been really disappointing now. The 49ers could very well shut out the Buccaneers. The Seahawks at home against the Panthers got to roll with the home team. And the Chiefs have the medicine they need. They take on the Broncos. They'll get a win there. In the final game, the Monday night game, pretty interesting matchup. The Panthers visiting the Arizona Cardinals. This is the type of game where Bill Belichick has his team ready and outcoaches the other guy, but I think the Cardinals will win this. They're the better team, but hey, based on how I did last week, I could get this one wrong as well, but I'm going to roll with the Cardinals. got through that pretty quickly. I got to do well this week because I'm actually under 60%, and that's the litmus test for me. That's the bar I'm trying to get over. Got to be over 60% in straight up picks, or I might stop doing this. So, hoping this is the week I get things turned around. The games we'll probably have some disagreement on. Well, I'll probably be the only one picking the Rams, and I have a feeling some of the other guys may roll with the Patriots over the Cardinals. Just about every other game, I think it's going to be pretty solid agreement on the outcome of all of them. Not many tempting upsets. Maybe the Chargers over the Dolphins. Chargers at home. Dolphins, their second straight game on the West Coast. Perhaps. I guess what I'm saying is, even if I got all of these games right, at best, I'm going to pick up 3 on the other guys. That's my Rams Up Straight Up picks for this week. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. Visit our website at ramsup.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.
Music courtesy of the YouTube audio library. Tracks featuring Bar Crawl by Track Tribe, Buckeye Bonzai by Vans in Japan, and Crimson Fly by Huma.